your student board member at our September 9th meeting. So I hope that you'll all be here for that. Ava DeCash will be getting sworn in on the September 9th meeting, during the September 9th meeting. And just District 6 community meetings will start again in September. That information will go out via our newsletter and email. So be on the lookout for those dates coming soon. And just welcome back to all of our students.
District 5.
I wanted to give a special shout out to Luby Community Center, Division I organization. We put together a tremendous back to school event last Sunday. And speaking of our board member, she volunteered with some MLK students also. So super excited to have her join us as well. And again, I just wanted to give a big kudos to Luby and Division I for putting together such an exceptional program. And also, welcome back to District 5.
District 4. Oh, let me skip. District 3.
So Saturday was the Tomato Arts Festival over on the better side of the river, over in East Nashville. And, no offense. And I want to brag on all of our East Nashville schools showed up and showed out. We had several bands there performing, and they did a fantastic job. And we're very proud of all our East Nashville schools.
District 2.
Thank you. So as y'all may have seen at your seats, we have the I Support the Overton cluster. That's because today during the director's report, though I don't want to get too far ahead of it, we're going to be hearing from some amazing schools within it. And so I want to recognize that we have John Overton High School here, Croft, we have McMurray. Oh, there is Oliver. Hi, Hawaii. We have Creve Hall, Norman Binkley, Haywood, and Tusculum. So we have a great group of. Oh, I didn't see you back there. I'm so sorry. My apologies. We also have Granbury. You know I wouldn't do that to you, Granbury. I'm so sorry. And Shane. So we are so excited to hear from everybody. I know it'll be a moment of pride, and so I just wanted to thank y'all for being here and giving us your time this evening.
District 1.
Yes, just one quick announcement. This weekend on Saturday the 16th from 9:30 until a little bit after noon, we will have Hands on Nashville and the Power Home Remodeling Group at Cumberland Elementary School. They're going to be helping us renovate some of the outdoor spaces there to include one of my favorites, a flag football field for our students there. And so if you're available and would like to volunteer, go to Hands on Nashville, sign up to volunteer, and we'd love to have your help. Thanks.
And saving the best district for last, District 4. No. Just want to thank every school across the district, teachers and staff, as well as our support hub for participating in all of the back to school bashes that we held at the beginning of the year. This is the first time that we've ever done it as a district, and we have gotten positive responses across the community on how we supported families and students and prepared them for their welcome back to school. So thank you so much. I know that was a lot of work and a lot of effort and time, and we just appreciate all that you have done to support students and families in our district. And then the second thing, we have a community auto detailing company. It's called High Craft Performance, that is giving a 40% off sale to everybody who wants to get their car detailed, all teachers and staff who want to get their car detailed for back to school during the month of August. So I will be posting that on my social media so that you guys can have access, and the phone number is attached to it to get that 40% discount. And that concludes announcements. Thank you.
I call this meeting to order. We have a quorum with all 9 members present. We will now have the Pledge of Allegiance. I will ask our Executive Officer of Human Resources, Mr. Dr. James Whitty, to give the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I gave you a new title. We're going to call you Mr. Doctor now. All right, I will now accept a motion for the adoption of agenda. Is there a motion? There's a motion by Member Young. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Nabhan Kinney and Member Elrod. All in favor, raise your hand. That is unanimous, 9-0. And the agenda is approved. Before we go into the agenda, I am going to take a moment to read a statement on behalf of the board as board's chair. 5 years ago, the Board of Education appointed Dr. Adrienne Battle as Superintendent of Metro Nashville Public Schools. She brought nearly 2 decades of deep commitment to public education and an unwavering dedication to Nashville. Her appointment came during a time of leadership transition, rising demands for better outcomes, and in the same week, COVID-19 pandemic shut down schools across the country. At that time, our district faced urgent challenges: declining test scores, budget shortfalls, and a structure in need of reform. In that partnership, the board made a difficult but necessary decisions, including closing and consolidating schools, prioritizing strong school leadership, and streamlining central office operations, and reimagining the district office as a support hub. These decisions were approved by the board, followed the law, and were taken in good faith to prioritize student learning and long-term stability. Some of those changes became subject of litigation by former employees. The cases involved decisions from 5 years ago. Last week, the board voted unanimously to approve a mutual settlement to avoid significant cost and disruption of a prolonged legal process. This settlement does not suggest wrongdoing and will be funded from the reserves without impacting daily operations. We want to be clear. The board fully supports Dr. Battle in her leadership. Under her guidance, MNPS has made bold, systemic changes throughout Metro Schools Reimagined, improved consistency and accountability, and strengthened operations and supports for schools. The results are clear. 3 consecutive years of level 5 growth, historic graduation rates, reduced truancy, and national recognition for post-pandemic recovery. We have also invested in our educators and staff, raising pay to among the highest in the state, adding paid family leave, increasing early childhood seats, expanding restorative practices, and ensuring that every school has a nurse. Public education will always bring complex challenges, but by staying grounded in our values and united in our purpose, we will continue to move forward, building a stronger, more equitable school system for every student we serve. Thank you. We will now move on to the director's report. We will now have Dr. Battle present her report on the TCAT update, the back to school update, and MNPS Reimagined update.
All right, thank you so much, Chair Player, and to the board. On Tuesday of last week, students kicked off their 2025-26 school year, and there are lots of smiling faces, maybe a few tears as well, on the faces of parents, students, staff, and teachers alike. While Tuesday was the first day back for students, it wasn't for our teachers and staff who had been working hard the prior week and throughout the summer to plan and prepare, with more than 8,300 planning days completed by about 3,000 teachers and classroom associates. We also saw a lot of professional learning, particularly with our new science curriculum, with 1,250 teachers participating in training to learn more about the new standards and how to ensure students are getting that important content knowledge in a fun and engaging way. This year, we're starting off the school year with fewer vacancies than we've ever seen before, with 80 openings for classroom teachers as of yesterday. And while our goal is always zero, with a district of more than 4,500 classroom teachers, this is a major accomplishment by our principals and human resources staff, who have all been working overtime to bring the best and brightest teachers into Nashville Public Schools. And that's great because we've continued to see more students enrolled over the last week, with our enrollment teams having processed more than 1,300 K-12 and 130 pre-K applications last week alone. Now, with high temperatures over the summer and into the start of the school, we've seen the inevitable HVAC issues pop up here and there, but a huge shout out to our maintenance and facilities teams that have been responding to any issues seen in schools as quickly as possible, ensuring that if there are any HVAC issues, they are addressed in a way that maintains a comfortable working and learning environment. Speaking of facilities, as Chair Player mentioned this morning, I was grateful to have the opportunity to cut the ribbon at Paragon Mills Elementary, which is one of 3 reconstructed or fully renovated elementary schools opening this school year, with the other 2 being Percy Priest Elementary and Lakeview Elementary. Paragon Mills is also one of 3 new dual-language Spanish immersion MSAP schools this year, along with Glenview and Stratton Elementaries, where they will be offering instruction starting with kindergarten in ELA, in English for ELA, and Spanish for other core content areas to help grow the skills and minds of our students. And to ensure every student has the tools and support they need, we'll be launching our Accelerating Scholars Tutoring Program starting next week, much sooner than in previous years, to give our students even more additional learning time that we know leads to better results and success. Which brings us to the foundation of success. Our results from the 2024-25 school year, which showed the highest TCAP and ELC scores in MNPS history and double-digit gains in achievement since 2021. Now, in a moment, I'm going to bring up Dr. Tina Stinson, our Executive Officer of Research Assessment and Evaluation, to break down some of the numbers in greater detail, but just some key highlights from our last report. As a reminder, we had the highest achievement scores in district history since the adoption of more rigorous standards and proficiency targets by the state. We've also continued to outpace the state in growth in nearly every tested category. In addition, we've had gains and outperformed pre-pandemic levels in all tested grade bands and subjects, and specifically in 19 of 21 individual grade level subject areas. Double-digit increases have also been realized since 2021 in all tested TCAP categories, with all student groups making proficiency gains between 2024 and 2025 in integrated math 1, 2, and 3, along with U.S. history, and nearly all student groups improving proficiency in all 4 TCAP categories and ELCs, English 1, 2, and biology. All of that wouldn't be possible without the hard work and dedication of our students, their parents and families, teachers and support staff, school administrators, and support hub leaders who have leaned in over the last several years to ensure every student known. Now, I'd like to welcome up Dr. Stinson to provide some more targeted data updates to better understand the progress and opportunities for success in the data. Dr. Stinson will be followed by Chief Elisa Norris of our Student Support Services team. She'll be providing some back to school and Reimagined updates, followed by Chief Dr. David Williams, who will provide a quick advanced academics update, followed by Chief Renita Perry, and then the amazing John Overton High School cluster. Dr. Stinson, you can take it away.
Thanks, Dr. Battle. Madam Chair, board members, hello. I am going to follow up that introduction with the grade 3 through 8 results, 1-year gains from 23-24 to 24-25. You can see all of these changes, and they are in your packet, so I'm not going to read them all to you, so we can leave tonight at some point. But we do have, and want to call out, our 5th and 6th grade gains for ELA, 3.6, for 6th grade ELA, 2.7, for math, 5th grade, 5.9, and 6th grade, 4.6. Science, you see a similar pattern with the highest gains in those 2 grade areas. And of course, in social studies, as we had discussed last time, we see pretty amazing gains across the board. I'm going to break it down a little further than I often do at this time of the year by looking backward at our ELA grade level TCAP data. And I want you to just notice the stair-step pattern for each of these grades, going from 21 to 22 to 23 to 24 to 25. You can see exactly what these gains are without me reading them, and they were on the prior slide. But I also want to mention that the majority of these grade levels in this in the ELA are also higher than any pre-pandemic data that we had, including, of course, the overall grades being higher than pre-pandemic, highest in history. I'm calling out 3rd grade data, or we are calling out 3rd grade data, because there's such extra accountability for students and families on this data, on these data. And you can see that the blue is MNPS, the black is the state. The line is our improvement line, and that line is a little bit steeper than the state's, meaning that we are making greater improvements over time in our percent meeting or exceeding. Moving to the math, grade level TCAP data, you can see the same stair-step pattern indicating sustained change, with every one of these being greater than it was years ago. And again, the majority of these are higher than they were pre-pandemic. I went back to 2017 and looked at every grade, and we were making it. For science, the data look pretty much the same. And we did not have pre-pandemic science data for all of those years, so I'm not going to make the claim, because science standards were changing and we didn't have it all of those years. But you can see that each of these grade levels did wind up a good deal higher than they were in 21 and 22 across the grade levels, and then to the far right in all grades. Finally, our social studies grade level TCAP data, you see the same stair-step pattern with every grade level making improvement over time. All of these are higher than they were pre-pandemic. I won't go into the end of course data simply because we've been through it and we don't break that down by grade level. And with that, I'm going to turn the mic over to Dr. Elisa Norris.
All right, thank you kindly, Dr. Stinson. Greetings, Dr. Bowden, board members. This evening, I'll be presenting a recap of Metro Schools Reimagined, from the start of this signature initiative to its current priorities. The successes that we've seen as a result of this comprehensive initiative have played an important role in creating the teaching and learning conditions across the district that allow students to meet or exceed their focused outcomes, as evidenced by the most recent TCAP data that was just shared. But first, let me take a moment to celebrate the back to school bashes. I'm hopeful that you had an opportunity to attend one of the bashes that happened across the district. We wanted to create a way to share supports and resources with families students and families in their school communities. And because having fun for all was a priority, there was face painting, bounce houses, a foam party, and other games and activities. A few other highlights are listed on the slide. Over 10,000 backpacks distributed, coordinated partnerships that maximize touch points with students and families, and over 15,500 students and families served. A special thanks to all the internal teams and external partners that made the first ever district-wide back-to-school bashes successful. We're already planning for next year's bashes. As a reminder, Metro Schools Reimagined is the continuation of the MNPS Next initiative that focused on studying building usage and potential cost of building maintenance and renovations for schools in need. From there, Metro Schools Reimagined evolved to place greater emphasis on academics by exploring new support hub support systems, rebranded academic pathways, and cluster climate, culture, and cohesion. Additionally, Metro Schools Reimagined looked at how to best leverage community partnership, like those that supported the bashes, and wraparound services towards strengthening school communities that can support rigorous teaching and learning. The vision for Metro Schools Reimagined, then, is about ensuring that there are equitable educational opportunities for all students across the district by focusing on cohesive academic programming, integrated learning environments, and aligned district supports. We have seen clusters collaborate across tiers to create meaningful academic experiences for students. Reimagine's uniform strategies ensure that there is consistency across clusters, even while each has its unique cluster academic pathway. The first big win for this initiative was the completion of the 5th grade transition that supports the pre-K, K-5, 6, 8, 9, 12 school model. Additionally, we have expanded Community Achieves as well as Advocacy and Peace Centers to complement the 5th grade transition and reinforce the district's restorative approach. The uniform strategies are another tool that reinforces Reimagine's vision to create equitable educational opportunities across the district. And here we see our guaranteed, personalized, and applied experiences that are bookended by our Grow Together with MNPS initiative, which focuses on engaging Davidson County families with young ones from birth to age 3, and the University MNPS partnerships with local colleges and universities that provide exclusive scholarship opportunities for MNPS students who qualify. This pathway ensures that all MNPS students start and finish strong. The GPA experiences, coupled with the rebranded Reimagined cluster pathways, demonstrate the alignment between academic programming and supportive partnerships. And if you haven't been to a University of MNPS signing day, I highly recommend that you do so. You will see and understand the impact of the district's commitment to all students and the impact of Metro Schools Reimagined. This signature initiative allowed us to ask, what needs to be true for all students to reach their academic potential in learning environments that are welcoming, affirming, and rigorous? The district's answer is Metro Schools Reimagined. Thanks for the opportunity to provide this very brief recap of this important work, and I have been proud to support this signature initiative. And with that, I'll turn it over to Dr. David Williams, who's going to be sharing about the opportunities available to students through the Cambridge program. As clusters continue to build out their identities, the focus is to build on what's working well and expand those opportunities throughout the cluster and tiers. Dr. Williams.
Thank you, Dr. Norse. Good evening, board. As we prepare to transition to hear about Overton, the Overton Cluster's amazing Reimagined work, here's a brief overview of the Cambridge Academic Program. Cambridge is an internationally recognized program which builds a strong foundation in students in areas such as critical thinking, collaboration with others, and inquiry-based research. Cambridge courses and the Cambridge diploma students can receive in high school are recognized by top universities across the world. And here in Tennessee, that includes universities such as the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, Vanderbilt University, University of Memphis, Middle Tennessee State University, Tennessee Tech, and many others. The 5 Cambridge learner attributes are aligned to qualities we certainly seek to develop in our students. They are confidence, responsibility, innovation, reflection, and engagement. In the middle school, which you can see described there on the left, the Cambridge program aims to build a foundation for success for the Cambridge ACE program in high school. That stands for the Advanced International Certificate of Education. Students are exposed to advanced coursework in preparation for high school rigor. Students take a global perspectives course to develop skills in the areas of research, analysis, evaluation, reflection, collaboration, and communication through a series of real-world challenges and global topics. The goal is to help students become better at critical thinking and to understand and respect different perspectives on a variety of global issues, laying a foundation for success at the high school level and beyond. And these skills are also integrated with school-wide AVID strategies that students experience in each class. At the high school level, students are able to customize their Cambridge courses in alignment to their career and post-secondary interests and goals. If you're familiar with the AP or the IB program, Cambridge ACE courses are similar. Students are allowed to pursue their rigorous Cambridge courses alongside their CTE pathways. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Chief Renita Perry to introduce the Overton cluster.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. Greetings, Dr. Battle and board members. As we begin this new school year, I'm excited to introduce a series of presentations you'll see throughout this year. Each one spotlighting the bold and intentional work taking place across our Nashville public schools, clusters, and signature schools. This summer during our principal retreat, our principals have leaned into a collaborative process to dream big for their school communities. Through this work, they've developed and refined what we call cluster journey maps, living illustrations of the student experience from elementary through high school. These maps are grounded in our commitment to delivering on the promise of GPA experiences that are guaranteed in our elementary schools, personalized in our middle schools, and applied in our high schools. These maps aren't just aspirational. They represent shared beliefs, clear commitments, and aligned practices across each cluster to ensure students are known, supported, and challenged every step of the way. Tonight, we're proud to begin with the Overton Zoo Cluster, a vibrant and diverse community that exemplifies what it means to lead with vision, heart, and high expectations. Let's take a look at the incredible work happening in the Overton Zoo Cluster.
Thank you very much, Chief Perry. As she mentioned, our principals spent time this summer intentionally defining that through line for our cluster's identity from pre-K all the way through 12th grade. So, what is that identity? We are the Overton Zoo Cluster, where global knowledge meets scientific exploration. Tonight, we are excited to share the results of that work by taking you on a journey through the eyes of a student. You'll see the guaranteed experiences we provide in elementary schools, the personalized experiences offered in middle schools, and the applied experiences that prepare our students for success in high school and beyond. But first, let's meet the principals of the Overton cluster.
James Urquhart, Norman Binkley Elementary.
Hank Staggs, Creve Hall Elementary.
Adam Wicker, Haywood Elementary.
Matt Earls, Tusculum Elementary.
Emily Kajihara, Granbury Elementary.
Brenly Oswansky, Shane Elementary.
Celia Jolly, proud principal of Croft Middle School, the Zoo School.
Tashaka Coverson, principal of McMurray Middle School.
Hawaya Wilson, principal of William Henry Oliver Middle School.
Kelby Garner, principal at John Overton High School.
The Overton Cluster is a connected pathway for student success, proudly supported by school board member Rachel Ann Elrod. We begin with 6 strong elementary schools, each building a foundation of academic excellence, creativity, and community. From there, students advance into 3 dynamic middle schools, where they deepen their learning, explore interests through advanced academics and extracurriculars, and develop the skills to lead. All roads lead to Overton High School, the heart of our cluster, where students have access to rigorous coursework, career and technical programs, and college-ready experiences. This seamless pre-K through 12th grade journey means every student is known, supported, and challenged every step of the way, graduating not just with a diploma, but with the confidence, connections, and skills to succeed in life.
So discover the Overton Zoo Cluster, South Nashville's diverse and welcoming pre-K-12 community, where global knowledge meets scientific exploration. Through partnerships with the Nashville Zoo, Vanderbilt University, and Cambridge International Diploma Opportunities, from AVID to Vanderbilt's Day of Discovery to the Academies of Nashville, students explore careers in healthcare, engineering, and technology, while excelling in award-winning arts, athletics, and academics. With Level 5 schools leading in growth and students earning millions in scholarships annually, including National Merit Honors. The Overton Zoo Cluster prepares learners for success in college, career, and life. So the Overton Cluster principals, we get really excited when we think about the roadmap to the Overton Cluster. We start with the first stop, our elementary schools, where wildlife research scholars with the Nashville Zoo and Vanderbilt University. Next stop, middle schools, where we are conducting scientific research to address real-world challenges with the Nashville Zoo and Vanderbilt University. And the final stop, high school, where we are applying global perspectives and research to college, career, and life. So come join us.
Like Dr. Garner said, our first stop is our elementary schools, and every student has a guaranteed experience. Introducing the Wildlife Research Scholars, an exclusive experience for Overton Zoo Cluster students, where global knowledge meets scientific exploration. In partnership with the Nashville Zoo and Vanderbilt University, students will engage in expert interviews, animal ambassador visits, zoo expeditions, and field trips. Aligned with our curricula, featuring units like creature features and extreme settings, this experience deepens understanding of topics like adaptations, ecosystems, and environmental change. The Wildlife Research Scholars lays a strong academic foundation for future success as students move through the Overton cluster.
Our middle school personalized experience ensures every student embarks on a unique learning adventure tailored to their strengths, interests, and potential. In our middle schools, learning is an adventure. Students push their limits with rigorous academics, real-world projects, and partnerships with the Nashville Zoo, Vanderbilt, and our community resource centers. They lead, create, and problem-solve through AVID strategies, project-based learning, and hands-on exploration. It all builds to the STEAM Expedition, a high-energy showcase where science, technology, engineering, art, and math come alive. Our students leave not just prepared for high school, but confident, connected, and ready to take on the world. Because when we invest in middle school experiences, we don't just build students, we launch future leaders.
So you've heard about our personalized experience and our guaranteed experience. Now it's time to talk about the applied experience. In high school, we are applying global perspectives and research to college, career, and life. As a part of the Academies of Nashville, students explore career pathways in interdisciplinary science and research, ISR, information technology, health sciences, and engineering, while collaborating with industry professionals. At John Overton High School, students apply global perspectives and research to real-world challenges through partnerships with the Nashville Zoo, Vanderbilt University's ISR, the School for Science and Math at Vanderbilt, SSMV. Through these immersive experiences and advanced academics, including the opportunity to earn the Cambridge International Diploma, students are equipped with the skills and knowledge needed for success in college, career, and life in a globally connected world. The pathway makes it very clear and a seamless process where the Overton Zoo Cluster is where global knowledge meets scientific exploration. Thank you. Thank you so much to our school leaders of the Overton Zoo Cluster for your dedication, creativity, and commitment to ensuring that every student is known and has access to rich, engaging, and purposeful learning experiences. What you've shared today reflects not only your vision for your schools, but also your belief in the collective power of our cluster communities to prepare students for success, guaranteed in our elementary schools, personalized in our middle schools, and applied in our high schools. Your work is a model for how we can align around a shared vision while still honoring the unique strengths and needs of each school community. Most importantly, it is clear that your plans are anchored in what is best for our students, both now and in the future. With deep gratitude for the work you do each day, I will now turn it back over to our Director of Schools, Dr. Adrienne Battle.
Well, let's give it up for these wonderful leaders one more time. I'll just tell them myself, yes, they've made me cry before with all of their great work and leadership and all their thoughts around what the future holds. So thank you all so much. Again, thank you for your incredible leadership, the impact that you're having both academically, growth, all the factors that we pay attention to. We salute you and thank you. Chair, I will turn it back over to you. I know this was jam-packed in content, but I'm sure there's some questions. Leaders, feel free. You can have a seat, and then if we have questions for you, we'll call you back up to entertain. Thank you.
Thank you, Overton Cluster. Norman, Brinkley, and Croft is in my political district, even though they're in Member Elrod's cluster. The political districts and the academic districts do not line up. Don't ask about that. But I've been a pleasure, particularly going to the Day of Discovery at the zoo. I have never been jealous of middle school kids in my life that they get to go to the zoo and observe animals and do a whole report and to hear their feedback and their preparation and how they talk about the fox and the muskets and the gorilla. It's not the gorillas, we don't have gorillas there, but the giraffes. It's really fascinating and it's really cool to see that. I didn't have that when I was in middle school, and so I'm a little jealous of that, but it shows the great work to see our kids do real academic, rigorous effort in coordination with Vanderbilt. It's a really warming and inspirational thing to see to that. So I will open up to questions or answers, question and answer, or comments from my fellow board members. Are there any questions or comments? Member Mays.
Well done. That's all I have for you. Well done, Overton Cluster. Keep up the great work.
Member Elrod.
Oh my gosh. I'm so impressed that you said thank you to our Overton cluster. I know you you like to say that you love all of our babies, Member Mays. But I know how you are so protective of your own
partial
cluster.
to Antioch and Cane Ridge, but I give love where it's deserved.
So it is. That's a high praise, guys. So I first want to say that I'm always so proud of all of my schools in the Overton cluster and that all of them work together well just within themselves and with each other. There are so many of these principals that are fairly new to the cluster or to their position within the cluster, like at Tusculum. And so I know that there's been a lot of work that y'all have put into this to not just work for your own school and how does this work within my responsibility, but my responsibility to each other and my responsibility to the cluster. And that's really noticed, not just by us on the school board, but also by the families. So many of our families have noticed that there's a growth within their students, not just academically, but personally, that there's also a growth of experience and the rigor that happens within those experiences, whether that's a rigor academically, or I believe that there's a rigor that can come with social emotional growth as well in those experiences. I know so many of you have schools that are real tight and have been tight for a long time. Like Shane, you were opened already over capacity when it opened, and you weren't there then. And of course, McMurray's had a beautiful new growth, and they have the beautiful building. That building is just gorgeous. and Overton as well. But I appreciate all the work that y'all do to take care of all of your students, consider all of them and their needs, and also your staff, particularly with the resources that we try to provide from the board standpoint, of course, from the standpoint of the state, and then, of course, within the limitations that we have, be that space or otherwise. So thank you so much for all of that. I'm so proud of y'all. I really like my new shirt. I will be wearing it, and I'll be emailing all of you tomorrow. If not tomorrow, Thursday, please give me peace on that. Thank you. Please put on your sticker. Thank you.
You see me putting this on right here.
That's a big deal. That's big.
That was real big.
Any member of Harold Block?
I very much appreciated the presentation from the Overton cluster folks. The zoo program and the day of discovery and all of that. I've seen some of those things work together at some of the graduations at SSMV and others, and it's really cool to be able to take that real world science experience. I actually have questions about the data. Shocker. Can we go back and talk a little bit about that? I want to go back to some of the grade level ELA data. So this was slide 5 that Dr. Stinson went over. I was just sort of like looking through this. It's exciting to see the higher levels of achievement in 3rd and 4th grade, 5th grade. 7th and 8th still are lower, and in math as well. I'm just wondering if you have insights onto why is it just, my theory would be, okay, we're starting to make progress in these earlier grades. We're going to see that start to play through over time into some of the other grades. It's a foundational success thing, but I'm just curious what we would say. And then are there different strategies? I probably know the answer to this question, but I always like to ask it, that are happening to try and push in those grades.
There's a few things in play. So yes, to the foundational approach to growing our students, both in overall growth, but also proficiency. So over time, we're seeing, which is why you see the stair-step approach, right? That's what's happening. Happening there. So that's one point I want to make. The second one is when you look at this as compared to what's happening across the state, you see kind of the same level of growth and proficiency rates across the state as far as the average rate is concerned. The third thing that you have at play in middle school is that you start to have varied courses that students are taking. So, for instance, when a student enters 7th or 8th grade, it's likely that they could also be in a high school for credit course. And so you begin to see a variation there, particularly in your highest performing students. And we are not going to limit a student based upon their ability, so we allow them to continue to progress year after year. So you have a few different things in play, from foundational to kind of your highest achieving students are beginning to take high school courses. So their data is going to show up in their cohort data in high school as opposed to in middle school. And what you see in proficiency rates kind of mirror what's happening in elementary school, kind of mirrors what's happening in middle school as well.
Can I ask a follow-up question on that that's actually somewhat related to the presentation from the Overton cluster? Because I'm familiar with some of the movements that happen and differences in what data gets counted for an accountability sense at a certain school or another. And there was a time where there was a conversation with the state around Cambridge and testing in Cambridge, testing similarly in IB programs. I'm just sort of curious as to whether or not and how that does or doesn't get resolved, and I don't know much about Cambridge, so I'm curious as to which classes for Cambridge can count for, how much credit can a student end up with, and some of that stuff. Just, I may have missed things, I admit, but just general curiosity about how Cambridge testing impacts state-related test scores, and also what is available for Cambridge students in terms of overall college credit.
Yeah. Thank you for asking. When we get to those ACE classes that Dr. Williams talked about, we have a version of courses called IGSE that's pre-Cambridge. And so those students take regular tested subjects. So whether it's English 1, 2, it's IGSE 1, 2, and they're not quite in ACE classes yet. They explore more of those ACE classes in junior and senior year. So for example, ACE history students never sit for the history end of course exam because they have a Cambridge exam that they take in place of. And so there's certain groups of students, like Dr. Battle was mentioning, our 8th graders are taking high school credit. Those students don't also sit for English 1, Math 1, or 8th grade English and 8th grade Math. So it works similarly. There's certain courses that count. Any ACE class does not also have an EOC.
And so like the students that, thank you, that's super helpful. That tracks with what I might have thought. The students that are talked about in here that graduated with the Cambridge diploma, like what are they, do you have any sense of like what they're going into with college credit?
So some of them end up going in with several credits. They're able to gain a credit for each class that they pass. And so when they pass the class, the coursework, and pass the exam, they're able to take that on for college credit. So several students will leave with 12 to 15 credits, depending on, if they're going all the way through. We have students that are AID diploma track, so their pathway is totally Cambridge. That's all they focus on in their electives. Then you have students in the engineering academy, for example, that may take a few ACE classes. They're not looking for the entire diploma. So when we look at that number, there's a limited number of students that take just the pathway program solely, and there are also students that take it as options.
And sorry, one last question on this. Are all of the things you just named, do those count in the ready graduate category?
Yes.
Okay,
Because
great.
those are early post-secondary opportunities.
And I'll remind us, our accountability now, thank you so much, Principal Garner, very well said, is a cohort model now. And I'm looking, Tina, are you confirming? Yes, they're in a cohort model, so their scores show up when their cohort shows up in the data. So it's a very complex tracking system with regards to when their scores count or not, but there are students who don't sit for every end of course exam because of their advanced pathway.
But the idea behind that cohort model would be for folks who aren't sort of playing along with the accountability conversation that we're having here that's kind of detailed. The idea behind the cohort model is that you count as many students' assessment scores when they take them, such that it's encouraging school districts and schools to push kids to higher level courses and have it not impact them negatively.
I hope so. That's what we do here in Nashville Public Schools.
Right, just checking. Thanks.
Vice Chair Nabal-Kinney.
So board member Block always jumps to me on the data questions.
For the record, you can raise your hand first.
I know. Every time you start, I'm like, dang, okay.
You can see we nerd out on data.
I also tried to wait
I know.
for the record.
It's okay. So another quick question, just to clarify, and I know you just mentioned it, but I just want to reiterate, those 8th grade high school credit classes, and can you name those 3, is it 3 or 4 classes?
The typical classes for high school credit are integrated maths 1 and 2. There is physical science, there is Spanish, and there is environmental science. Thank you.
Environmental science, okay. So if students are taking them in the 8th grade, then they will be taking those as high school credit courses, but they don't count in 8th grade data?
That's correct. If that's the end of course exam they're sitting for, but it can start earlier than 8th grade.
Gotcha. And then it doesn't count in 8th grade, 7th or 8th grade data, and it doesn't count in high school data either.
It's for high school, it's going to count in their cohort data.
Gotcha, okay. The early post-secondary.
Am I answering correctly, Tina?
Can she? I can't hear.
Can you come up to the podium, Dr. Stinson? And this has shifted over the years. So it has previously counted for the middle school, it's counted for the high school, it's counted in the cohort. So where we are today, Dr. Stinson, is...
So what we're looking at right now is strictly assessment data. We are not looking at accountability data. If an 8th grader takes, say, integrated math 1 or 2, that score will count as that school's math score. And this number for 8th grade that we're looking at right now would go up. But we can't share those data yet. And then there's, I believe, two cohort conflations. One One is the cohort data for accountability for end of course assessments. And that is any individual sophomore student's ninth grade math, whatever it is, whether they take integrated math 1, 2, or 3, and their 10th grade English. So that's one cohort. And then there's the ready grad cohort. So I just wanted to kind of say, did that answer the
Yes,
question?
it did.
Thank you.
And then another question as it relates. So I'm excited that over the last, it looks like 4 years, we have seen the data go up related to that. I know Board Member Block mentioned it, but in 7th grade, we did see a little dip there for ELA related to from 2004 to are we in 2005? Yes, to 2005 data. Have we figured out, or we're not there yet?
Statistically, I mean,
It's so, okay, gotcha.
essentially the same. So what the team will be digging into, like we've done in years past, we'll be doing kind of a deep dive around the standards, just to see if there was any significant dip in standards and how students perform, as well as our school teams as part of their leadership playbook when it comes to their continuous improvement cycle and their instructional leadership teams. They'll be digging into the individual student data to determine if there was anything there. But that can shift slightly depending on the number of students tested versus not tested. I mean, you could always have a little bit of variation with regards to that. So we've noted it, and it's something that we'll continue to dig into to see if there was any significant shift one way or the other.
Okay. And then a follow-up question to that, and we may not have this data out yet from the state, but have we been able to disaggregate the data to see where we are as far as subgroups are concerned and how?
Yes, I think we shared some of that at the last school board meeting.
Okay.
Yes.
And so we'll be able to follow up with that more in depth and.
Absolutely. I mean, we'll be able to potentially share some more student group information once we get growth data. But the proficiency data, we've shared that, and we can recirculate that if we need to.
Would you please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Member Young, and then Member Tyler.
Thank you, Chair. I am pleased. This is great. We're headed in the right direction. I'm glad the comparison with the state data is included because I think many folks think the state scores are typically much higher than what they actually are. I'm glad we celebrate our success. However, I think it's important that we ground ourselves in the fact that we still have a tremendous amount of opportunity. And I think these gains we see should not be an exception. They've got to be the floor for us. And so obviously what we're doing is what our teachers and administrators are doing, they're making gains. And so we need to make sure that we're continuing to support the efforts that are working. I think that was so important. That's why I'm thrilled that the mayor and council gave us the additional funding to continue a lot of the additional services we're doing, that we have proof to show that it works. But I just think it's important that as we figure out what else is helping and working, that you bring that to us, because we have a lot of opportunity left. And I don't know, I'm not a statistician. I got a C- in stats class. And so I'm curious if we have kind of mapped out where we think or when we think we can be on par with the state. And I don't necessarily expect that calculation to be known right now. I understand that's probably a math equation, but I guess I would just really impress upon everyone that getting to the state score should be our floor, and this shouldn't be our target. And this is not at all meant to take away from the wonderful results we are receiving, but we owe it to ourselves to ground ourselves in the reality that we have a lot of opportunity left. But I'm thrilled with the hard work and results we have. And you are certainly to be commended for that. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you for your feedback and your comment. Y'all are probably tired of hearing me say our mantra, continuous improvement mindset, is around know where you are, but don't stay there. We want to celebrate the successes that we do have, which, by the way, are historic. This is the first time that for 4 years consecutively we've seen an increase in proficiency rates in almost every tested category across every subject area. If you just dig into research, that is not norm. That doesn't usually happen for all data points to be moving in that direction, as well as that level of growth that we've seen now for 3 years in the row. That's a conversation we have all the time as a leadership unit about this just being the new normal and just part of our DNA, that we'll continue to grow students at high rates. But I'd be remiss if I did not, again, just commend the entire learning community, because if just looking back in our historical record of performance, this is the first time we've kind of hit our stride and having some consistency across all the content areas, all the grade levels, and with our student groups. We're seeing that, and we want to continue to accelerate the level of proficiency and growth across all of our student groups and subject areas as well. And we're positioned pretty well, given the historic investments that you've mentioned, Board Member Young, to continue that and continue to move the needle forward. We'll continue to bring our best thinking to the board around what those accelerators are and how we can springboard from this success into the next level of success.
Real quick, and also to Member Young's point, also the importance of resources. I know myself, Member Elrod, Member Mays have the highest concentration of English as a second language, and the resources it takes to recruit the teachers that have those certifications, particularly at the elementary level, to bring them up to this level at an expedited rate. So I think as we continue to advocate, understand our population of students, and that a lot of them, English is their second language, and that's a significant subset, and that we need the resources to make sure we have the best ESL teachers to have those certifications to do that, to continue what you're saying, to be able to have this where we continue to grow and hopefully exceed the state data. Member Tyler.
Yeah, so again, I also am very pleased to see continuous growth moving from year to year for the most part. And I think that that is a real testament to our teachers, to the trainers of the teachers, to the coaches in the schools that are working hard to make sure that all their questions are answered and to support them when they have students that they don't seem to be able to reach. And that's extremely important. That infrastructure is what is making these gains possible. But I do think it behooves us to kind of look a little bit more closely. If we're following the same group of kids from year to year, so like looking at them from 4th grade in 2021 and then looking at 5th grade in 2022 and looking, so the same group of kids. In math, we're seeing that they're kind of making some gains from year to year, and we're seeing some good things for the most part. In ELA, we're seeing some data that is a little concerning from moving from 4th to 5th grade. And then again, moving from 7th to 8th grade. And I know we've talked about 5th in the past, and that our whole Reimagined plan was intended to address what we knew was a deficiency with our 5th grade students. And I'm glad that we did that. I think it is making a difference. Genuinely believe that that is making a difference. Do we have a plan for 8th grade? Because I'm also seeing that same dip from 7th to 8th.
Yeah, so we, the 2 grades have been 5th and 7th. That's where we had not been seeing the consistent improvements across time. And so we knew we accelerated our plan to transition from 5th grade. We now see that paying off. We're also digging deeply into what's happening 7th and 8th grade. Part of that transition is also to support what's happening through the 6th through 8th band. And so that is something that our teaching and learning team is paying close attention to. It does require a deep study of what the demand is around the content standards as well. Again, once you start getting into those grade bands, I'm going to go back to what's happening in the student data, which is not, as Tina mentioned, not fully represented here. You do have students who are not sitting for the 7th and 8th grade assessment who are taking advanced courses that are not represented in this data as well. It could be, I'm pretty sure the team has already dug into this. Once you add that data back, you would see a very different picture of the cohort data. And to your point, when you're looking at cohort data, which is also very commendable here, when you're taking 1 year's cohort and that's the baseline for the incoming cohort, regardless of where they started.
Yeah.
Right. And so that in itself just speaks to the tremendous efforts in what we're seeing. But we're also seeing some very positive transitions, particularly as we've really amplified our foundational skills at the lower grade levels in the K-2 space and expanded our pre-K access. So we're trying to back it up to make sure that that foundation is there. But I think you see a combination of things. It's something we don't want to take our eye off of. We want to continue to really interrogate what's happening to make sure we see that consistent growth and proficiency.
Okay. Yeah. I would love to keep the conversation open about, as you continue into the deep dive, what are you finding out and how can we be supportive to help you get what you need at that grade band to support what those kids are missing for whatever reason.
Yep, and I'll ask my team as we get the data and the embargoes lifted, we can go back and add that data to what's 7 to 8 so we can have a clearer picture around what's happening.
Great, thank you.
Member Fain.
Maybe it was answered already, but just a question of the cohort. Is it a specific district of students, a school-centered district? Like, is it a cluster? Or is it various?
No, when we're speaking of cohort, we're speaking of accountability. And what happens is once you get to high school, the year that you enter ninth grade is your cohort year. So our ninth graders this year are considered the 26 cohort technically. And so you get cohorted based upon the first year you enter high school. So that's what we're referring to.
So the students in this data isn't the same students, or it is the same students?
So what, so what Ms. Tyler was pointing out was that if you look at the 25 fifth graders, they were your 24 fourth graders. So you can see that.
So we're taking the test scores from the same cohort of students annually.
Yeah. So if you were looking at fifth grade right now, you can actually see how they performed in fourth grade. You can see how they performed in third grade. Yes.
Okay. So is this a specific district? That's my question.
This is all students.
So this is just okay.
Yeah, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you. Absolutely. Like, just for one clarifying point, this is when we talk about also the difference between proficiency and growth in terms of proficiency data, TCAP, just straight proficiency data, and then TVOS data. One of the reasons why TVOS is so important and why we have placed such emphasis on things like, are we a level 5 district? Do we have level 5 schools? Is that what that does is follows each student over the course of their own history with their own scale score even. So not just did I move from a level of proficiency here to a level of proficiency there, but literally like, is every student making progress every year? And so it's a little more difficult to draw sort of significant cohort type conclusions, like kids over time conclusions off of these kind of movement that we're seeing here, and a little bit easier to rely on the fact that if TVOS data is telling us we're at level 5, that means that students are moving faster in our district than the average student across the state, each sort of individual student aggregated up.
Yes, and we should have the data in the next couple weeks. We should be able to communicate that data in the next couple weeks.
Any more questions?
I'm just interested in the tracking because, again, a data person, like, oh, shoot. Thank you. I'm just interested in the tracking, like, the numbers, if that makes sense. Like, yes, these students were here in 22, but do we have the same group of numbers of kids in 23 and 24? And that would absolutely bring some difference in your test scores and the numbers for sure, because going into seventh with the key on the 7th grade, a lot of people are deciding other options, if that makes sense. Elementary, a lot of people stick with your public schools. And then when you get to certain levels, a lot of times they pull the kids out a lot of times. So that's why I'm looking, I want to know the numbers, like, yes, correct, yes.
So, and I think that goes back to what Board Member Block was just sharing. So once we have the growth data, it'll give you more insight. And to her point, I'd be remiss if I didn't say this, Nashville Public Schools has been a level 5 the last 3 years, which means that our students, in comparison to their peers across the state, are performing at or growing faster than the average student, their comparable peer student across the state of Tennessee, which is a very, I mean, you don't get a higher mark than that in growth than to be a level 5.
Thank you, Dr.
Member Elrod and then Member Tyler.
Thank you. I want to make sure that I understand that we believe we're getting growth data in a couple weeks.
We'll be able to communicate growth data in a couple weeks, yes.
Okay, that'd be great. Historically, we have seen a dip, particularly in math, within our 7th grade numbers. I honestly, that's at least been the case since 2018 when I joined the board. So like a lot of my colleagues have said, I am joyful, excited about the increase, particularly because it's a stair step increase. But always 7th grade seems to be a tricky year for a lot of students. So I look forward to seeing whatever that result might be, or series of results of when we dig deep and what we think we find there are things that we need to tighten up or work on or need additional supports on. Recently, I was asked, as I shared some of our TCAP data, particularly after what we received from last meeting, I was talking to a group of people and was talking about how we have this large increase and how we've been doing this for so many years and sharing all the talking points. And a question that I received that I would like to ask you is, what are the 5 things that we have done as a school system that we think have made this change?
Well, there is just no silver, there's
no
not one
silver
answer
bullet.
to that. But just foundationally, listen, there's a few things at play here. We know, and if you were digging into research right now, it would echo exactly what I'm getting ready to say. We've always known that having a quality educator in front of students and with students every day matters. So when we talk about our compensation studies, when we talk about the conditions, the high quality instructional materials, like all of that matters to us having sustained improvement as a school district. Now, we also know more now than ever before that leadership matters. There was a recent research study conducted by the Wallace Foundation. We also saw some work come out of Vanderbilt University, particularly under the leadership of Dr. Jason Grissom, that we now know the multiplier effect is having strong leadership in our schools and amongst our instructional leadership team. So like the investment in our administrators, their leadership, their professional learning, the resources that they need to be successful as well. And the third thing, which I kind of hit on a little bit, has been a focus on high quality instructional materials, but also programs and services that we know support our students. So there's no, I won't put a 5 on it. There's not one thing alone. There's no standalone that we could all probably point to. As a combination. And we've been really thinking about from the educator standpoint. And when I say educators, I mean our effective teachers, our paraprofessionals, our bus drivers, like nutrition services. Everyone really matters because we're also a school district that has taken away every barrier that we can take away from our families. No cost meals, the school back to school supplies. I mean, we're just trying to make sure that we can keep the main thing. And so, unfortunately, I don't have a short answer to that, but I can tell you that strong quality instruction led by the educators that support our students, strong leadership, and the supports and conditions are key ingredients to having thriving schools.
My answer was similar, that there's no silver bullet. And that it's first personnel, and that the support of our personnel is more than just providing a curriculum. It's supporting them professionally in other ways as well. Part of that gets me, I guess, to my next question of last board meeting, we saw some of the data that Dr. Nama McKinney was talking about with students with disabilities, economically disadvantaged. And what is the third cohort of students that we watch? Is it, do we call English language learners? Is it English learners that's listed as EL? I just wanted to make sure I said whatever it is correctly. Appreciate that. My belief from last meeting was that we saw a lot of sustained growth within those populations as well, which historically is a hard group, all three, to have sustained growth within. Students with disabilities had the least amount of growth, though there was growth, they had the least amount of growth. Can you remind me of what the answer was? I know I asked then, but I'm going to ask again. Is there something that we need to be doing as a school system, or what are we thinking about that population to help them continue to sustain that growth and get to their other peers?
Yes, I'll preface this by saying, again, when you look at urban education, right, and moving diverse school districts forward, or even individual schools, I mean, it's hard to do. It's hard to do. If we point back to the national study that's been conducted over the last couple of years, I mean, Nashville Public Schools is the only large urban school district that showed up in the top 10 for 2 years in a row for both math and reading growth. That includes our exceptional education students, right? And so you're asking, I'm just context, you asked me that question, but yet, right, we're kind of the district to watch and being able to improve these student outcomes. And yet, again, our continuous mindset is know where you are, but don't stay there. So a few things we've been doing. My team, I've been meeting with the Division of Schools and Academics. We have a pretty structured rhythm by which we're digging into data. We're looking at all of our APR data, our supports, our instructional focus with our exceptional education team, and we're trying to make more rapid response adjustments, right? So we're not having to wait for a year's worth of data to make those informed decisions. We're learning a lot. We're adjusting and we're supporting to the greatest degree possible. We've made the adjustments we've already identified for this school year. I think what's going to be most important is as we continue to discover what those needs are, that we can have open conversations with the board around what's needed next. But we have a phenomenal exceptional education team, not just here at the Support Hub. Debbie McAdams leads our exceptional education department, but on the ground. I mean, our school teams are amazing. The reality is that we're seeing the numbers of students in our exceptional education portfolio continue to increase. We've seen that both with our exceptional education as well as with our English language learners. And so the biggest challenge there is scale. Right? So for a large urban district, scale is the toughest challenge. So we're trying to figure out how to do more of what works for more students more frequently. And I think that's kind of the formula right now that we're digging into, given the interventions that are in place. I think the principals from the Overton cluster across the district who are here will also tell you they're doing a lot of mapping. They're doing a lot of hiring. I mean, we have had lots of conversations around the certifications for our exceptional education teachers, their training. They're looking at their interventions, how they intervene when the intensive courses are happening within their master schedules. That is a constant conversation and review for our teams. And as we leverage up scalable strategies, we'll continue to roll them out and, of course, work with the school board around any additional investments needed.
I first want to thank Debbie for coming to the Overton cluster. She was even at the cluster event. And I know that mapping happens and it's essential to not only hiring, but to, of course, also their student response. And do you need to?
No, one other thing. We actually, I'm surprised the team didn't go, everybody forgot this. We've been meeting with internal, external partners around the supports for exceptional education department. So we've got some families, some researchers. We've got a group that are consistently engaging in conversation around what we're seeing, what is research telling us for us to make the changes or shifts that we need to make.
I know, as Chair Player mentioned, trying to find employees that are certified to teach EL is extremely difficult, and that is absolutely the truth, if maybe not more difficult to receive certification or to find people that are certified for special needs and special education. And so I appreciate that that work is still happening, and I know it's a focus, but it's always a question to have. And I appreciate that we're working on it, not just as an entire district, but individually as we're mapping students and how they're progressing through their own grade levels and the work that they are getting to. Lastly, I am excited about our significant gains, us having the highest TCAP scores. All of those things are really exciting. Additionally, I want to make sure that it's said on the board floor that our students are not just measured by their TCAP, and they are more than that. And so, of course, I appreciate the conversation about all of our students, including the students that we just discussed, and how they are more than just a test score, and how we also honor that, the other work that we do, not just in our schools, but also here on the board floor and within the support hub. So I appreciate that, and thank you.
I'm going to Member Taylor since hasn't spoken yet, and then I'll come to you. Oh, you're being that fifth gentleman, aren't you? All right, Member Tyler. Then we go to Member Taylor.
I just had a quick comment anyway. So I just wanted to mention we had been talking about when we get the data that's embargoed that we're allowed to include, so we can have a fuller picture of where all of our students are, not just the ones who are working at a specific level. But also just I wanted to encourage us, we've always done this, but I wanted to encourage us to make sure that everybody here knows that happens, is that when we're looking at this data, that we're not just looking at the number, the final proficient number, but we're also looking at how many students are we moving from below to approaching. How many students are we moving from approaching to proficient? How are we moving our kids up those tiers? And we've always talked about that, but I think it's really important to know that it's not just a kid who might not be considered proficient. Just because they're not proficient doesn't mean that they are not moving. It's the whole, know where you are, but don't stay there. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And in addition to that, proficiency bands change.
Yeah.
From year to year and grade to grade. So the viewing public may not understand how this works, but those cuts, the cut is not actually set until after every student has tested. So that changes year after year. So you could have been proficient.
Poor Dr. change it.
Yeah,
Explain
proficient
that
one
every
year,
single time.
a very different cut the next year.
Yep.
And so we also have to keep that in mind as well.
Thank you. That was all I was going to say.
I have a strong opinion about it, but I'll reserve it for later.
Me too.
Member Taylor.
So I just want to start off by just thanking all of the teachers and support staff and all of the individuals that work with our students every day to make these numbers happen. I think that, we see all of this data and these colorful charts and everything, but those are real students that we're talking about. And so I just want to thank everybody that has worked with them. I have several children of my own, and I know that just a few, and so I know how challenging it is to make sure that kids are getting a high quality education every day, and the work that I've seen, I'm finishing up my freshman year on the school board here, and the work that I've seen that Dr. Battle and her team has done, just with the intentionality around things like MNPS Next, our Metro Schools Reimagined. Dr. Norris, I wanted to thank you for the work that you're doing in that area. I had the opportunity to be a part of the renaming ceremony at the Richard Dinkins Middle School now. And just in preparing my remarks, I had to think about, there's some real intentionality behind the pathways that we're creating for our students to see this type of growth that we're looking at. And so I just wanted to just recognize that. What I see in the Overton cluster, what's our statement? It's where global knowledge meets hands-on scientific exploration. That type of intentionality is what we need to see this movement. I think you had the question from someone in the community about what's the 5 things that we need to do. There's probably 500 things. That's why this job is so hard, because there are so many complex issues that we have to deal with each and every day to see just this minimal amount of growth. And so I don't want that to be lost as we have this conversation about the data and so forth. this is a really tough job. And that's what I've seen. That's what I know from my personal experience with my own children and with the children that I've worked with in the school system as well. And so I want us to be encouraged to know that, yes, there are some opportunities for us to continue to grow. And we're here to support you in making that happen. We're here to support our kids. We're here to support our families because we all are in this together. And we want to see our children do well. And so we may not always agree on the exact details of how to make it happen, but I think we can agree that we want the same outcomes and that we're willing to work together to make that happen. And so that's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you, Board Member Taylor. One thing that I will share that I've been digging into, and this is just kind of food for thought as we wrap up this conversation. When you look at our proficiency rates, you made me think about this. If you look at sheer numbers of students who are represented by proficiency rates, Nashville Public Schools gets more students across the success line than almost any other district in the state of Tennessee, just off of sheer numbers. So I think that is something that should be processed and thought about. We just happen to educate more students than almost every district in the state of Tennessee, but we actually have more students who test proficient number of students than almost every district in the state of Tennessee. And again, thank you for all the feedback and the comments. I must again applaud our leaders who are with us this morning, this afternoon, this evening. The day's been long. This evening, none of this is possible first without the talents of our students being recognized and at the table, the educators who support them every day, the leaders who are serving in our school, and every support hub leader who gets keeping the main thing. And that's all about our children and our young people. So thank you.
And to piggyback on Member Taylor's remarks, I said if it was easy, someone would have already done it and gotten rich off of it. And I also want people to know that the proficiency test does not measure literacy, that it actually represents comprehension in a level. And I challenge adults to take the third grade literacy test and see the complexity of it that we're putting with our third grade students and see how even educated adults with graduate degrees have failed the third grade literacy test that actually are in prominent positions in our own communities here in Nashville. So understanding that the standard that we have raised for our children is significant, it's substantial, and we are putting the highest standards that are there. So I'd like to do that. Well, thank you, Dr. Battle. Thank you, Overton Cluster leaders. We appreciate your hard work. We is not going unnoticed. We really do, you're inspiration to us, and you got to go first. So you have set the standard for the clusters that will follow after you. But thank you, and thank you for everything you have done, and we look for a great partnership with you in the future. Okay, now I would like to recognize Metro Legal Director Wally Dietz to give a legal report, please. It's a school night, y'all, so they need to go prepare.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, Dr. Battle. I am Wally Dietz. I am the Director of Law for the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. I'm also a very proud graduate of MNPS schools, first grade through 12th. We didn't have kindergarten back in the day, or I would have been there. And I'm also a parent of two adults, both of whom graduated from MNPS high schools. So I'm grateful for this board. I'm grateful for the work that all of these great teachers and leaders do. And I am fully supportive of your efforts here. I want to speak very briefly about the recent settlement of the litigation that I was personally involved in and other members of my team. First, the Department of Law strongly recommended that this lawsuit be settled, and we firmly supported the settlement that was reached. The settlement that was reached after years of litigation, after we were successful in dismissing many of the claims, and after, Dr. Battle knows better than anybody, a marathon mediation that started early in the morning and ended at midnight. This settlement did not come about easy, and there were several times when Dr. Battle was ready to push away from the table and say, we're not going to give in to more of these demands. So this was a hard-fought settlement, and we strongly support it. We think the context does matter, and Madam Chair, you spoke to this at the very top of this meeting. Back in that time, this district was having some issues transitioning from the prior administration, Dr. Battle coming in, COVID came in and created chaos. So there was a lot going on here. And that was the genesis of the issues that led to this lawsuit. So we should not just ignore the fact where we were back then and where we are now. I'll admit that the dollar amount is high, but this is also a consolidated case that is 5 separate lawsuits involving 5 different individuals and attorneys for each of the individuals, all of whom had claims for attorney's fees that could have grown significantly over time. And there's a good reason why the Metro government and schools maintain special reserves. It's for this purpose, to settle these kinds of claims. We don't know exactly what's going to come up, but there are reserve funds on hand to pay claims like this. So our litigation team worked really hard on this case. We came to the conclusion that Dr. Battle did nothing wrong, that the school system did nothing wrong. So then the obvious question is, well, why would we settle? And we settled because it was a business decision. We make these kinds of decisions all the time. We analyze the risks of what we could potentially gain by going to court, where we could have won 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe all 5, not likely, of those lawsuits, or we could have suffered losses in 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 of those lawsuits with damages that exceeded the amount we agreed to pay and attorney's fees that likely would have been 50% higher after a 3-week trial. And we were also on the verge of schools opening. And instead of asking Dr. Battle to sit in a courtroom downtown for 3 weeks, we thought it was important that she return to this building to be ready to open schools and answer all the questions of parents and students and to get things off to a good start. So we strongly support this settlement. We defend it completely. And the law department is very grateful that this board voted to accept the settlement that was the result of a very hard-fought negotiation. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Keats. We will now move into public participation. The board will hear from those persons who have requested to appear at the board at this board meeting. In the interest of time, speakers are limited to remarks to 2 minutes or less. Comments will be timed, and there is your timer clock, and you also have lights on the podium. We will begin with Laurencia Muse. Ms. Muse. Kendall Maupin.
Good evening. My name is Kendall Maupin. I live in District 4. I'm here tonight because I'm deeply concerned about the recent $6.5 million settlement approved by this board. As a taxpayer, as someone who cares deeply about our schools, I can't help but to think about where the money could have gone and who it could have served. Our exceptional education students, and as an exceptional education parent, some of our most vulnerable in Metro Public Schools, they need more than the bare minimum. They need individualized support, trained staff, accessible resources, and environments that help them thrive academically and emotionally. Instead of $6.5 million has been spent to make a problem go away, a problem that shouldn't have needed to be prevented, should have been prevented. Children in our district are expected to correct their behavior when they make mistakes. Why is this not the case for Dr. Battle? And this board, accountability should not be optional. This decision sends a message the settlements are prioritized over student success. And for our exceptional education students who really face systemic barriers, this is a painful reminder that their needs are often come last. I urge you to stop making decisions in closed rooms, because I've been in one of those closed rooms, that cost our children opportunities. Redirect your focus, your budgets, and your energy back to classrooms, especially those who need it the most and deserve nothing less.
Kimberly Moore.
Hello, good evening. My name is Kimberly Moore, and I'm in District 1. I'm a proud parent of a Black, excuse me, I am a mother of a Black child with dreams, talent, and potential. And here in Nashville, 24% of Black children are not reading on grade level, and that should break everybody's heart in this room. Reading is key to learning. If kids feel behind in school, becomes harder, chances shrink, and too many doors close before they can even open. That's why this $6.5 million settlement needs is coming out of the 25 budget that's coming out of the kids' classrooms right now. This money should have been used to close reading gaps, putting books in hands of kids and giving hope. Instead, the need is still there. Being a board member is not just a title. It's a duty to protect the future kids like my son, make reading a priority, investing in our kids, and stop making them make the mistakes of adults. Thank you.
Carla McAllister.
Good evening. My name is Carla McAllister, and I live and grew up in District 5. I stand here tonight as a concerned resident, not just as a concerned resident, but as someone who believes that public education is the backbone of our city's future. In recent weeks, I've listened to parents, educators, and neighbors all asking the same question: how did we get here? How do we reach a point where $6.5 million of public money is used to make a problem disappear while our classrooms go without? This is not one bad decision. It's a pattern of secrecy, poor judgment, and reactive leadership. And while some may want to say that this settlement is behind us, it's being paid from the 2025 budget, taking resources from our schools right now. That money could have funded more teachers in struggling schools, expanded literacy programs, supported exceptional education students, and 1.3 million of it could have put a literacy specialist in every elementary school. Instead, we have fewer resources and more questions. Trust has been broken, and trust is only restored when leaders take responsibility or when voters hold them accountable. Dr. Battle won't step down, so the people will step up. We will step up in our neighborhoods, we'll step up at the ballot box, and anywhere else our voices are heard. Our children's futures are way too important to leave in the hands of leaders who won't protect them. Thank you.
Cheyenne Cutts.
Good evening. My name is Cheyenne Cutts, and I live in District 4.
What troubles me most about the recent $6.5 million settlement is not just the cost, it's the pattern. Too many things in this district have been swept under the rug. Problems don't disappear just because you move them out of sight. They resurface, and when they do, the damage is even greater. This settlement is more than a financial hit to taxpayers. It's another blow to the trust between the district and the community it serves. Trust is not automatic. It's earned through transparency, honesty, and accountability. And right now, this board and Dr. Battle have a serious trust deficit. My question to you is this: how will you reestablish the trust you have lost? What specific actions will you take to prove that decisions like this will not happen again? The community deserves more than vague assurances. We deserve concrete steps in the open with clear timelines. Being a board member comes with responsibility and oversight. You are not here to rubber stamp decisions. You are here to ensure that leadership serves students first, not self-interest. This $6.5 million could have gone towards putting more qualified teachers in the low-performing schools right here in my neighborhood, where students need the very best educators to close gaps and create opportunities. The trust of parents, students, and taxpayers is not yours to take for granted. I plan to make parents get out to vote. Thank you.
Elizabeth Buchanan.
Good evening. My name is Elizabeth, and I live in District 3. I live in District 3. And I want to talk about something bigger than just this 6.5 million settlement. And that is the culture that allows these situations to happen in the first place. Retaliation is never acceptable, not against staff, not against parents, and not against anyone who raises concerns in good faith. And yet in Metro Nashville Public Schools, it has become part of the environment. When retaliation goes unchecked, people stop speaking up. And when people stop speaking up, small problems become big scandals, the kind that cost taxpayers millions of dollars and rob our students of resources they desperately need. Leadership is not about titles. And as the director of schools, it is your responsibility, Dr. Battles, to make sure every process is followed with integrity every time. And as board members, it is your job to ensure she does just that. Being a board member comes with responsibility and oversight. And that means asking hard questions, demanding answers, and taking action when those answers fall short. This is not just about money. This is about trust, culture, and the example you set for every teacher, every student, and every family in this city. Our schools cannot thrive in an environment where speaking up is punished and mistakes are swept aside. I am asking you to break this cycle for the sake of our students, our teachers, our parents, and the integrity of public education in Nashville. Lead with integrity. Leadership matters. Thank you.
Theodore Willis.
Good evening. My name is Ted Wills, and I live in District 2. I'm here tonight to speak about the recent $6.5 million settlement. $6.5 million. That's the equivalent of roughly 81 teaching positions that could have been funded for this school year. Now, I don't fault the board for settling. Based on the alleged fact pattern, that might have been a good deal. But I do fault the board for not holding Dr. Battle accountable. I only have 2 minutes, so there's no time for me to go into each of Dr. Battle's breaches. So I'll focus on the alleged facts related to her shielding her brother from accountability. The district has an ethics policy that applies to all MNPS employees. Amongst other things, it forbids district employees from 1, using their position in MPS for private gain. Dr. Battle is alleged to have used her position to shield her brother from accountability. 2, providing preferential treatment to any person. Dr. Battle is accused of giving her brother preferential treatment. Policy 5, losing the ability to make independent and impartial decisions. Dr. Battle is alleged to have interfered in the discipline proceedings of her brother, a close family relation, where she could not be expected to have been independent and impartial. Policy 6, making any decision that does not follow approved guidelines and that is not in the interest of MNPS. The alleged retaliation is not permitted under MNPS policies, and a $6.5 million payout is certainly not in the interest of the district. Having an adverse effect on the confidence of the public and the integrity of MNPS. All you got to do is look at this room to know that the confidence of the public has been shaken. Number 8, reducing the operational efficiencies or economies of MNPS. Again, 81 teaching positions could have been created with $6.5 million. The policy promises that all reports of unethical behavior will be investigated and disciplinary action up to and including suspension or termination will result. I'm not aware of any independent investigation of Dr. Battle. I'm not aware of any disciplinary action.
Thank you.
Instead of being held accountable, Dr. Battle got a dang raise.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yolanda Johnson. Melissa Spradlin.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Melissa Spradlin. I'm the Executive Director of Bookham. We are located in District 5, but we serve the entire county. I want to begin by thanking each of you for your service and leadership. Your commitment to equity, engagement, and student success inspires our work every day. Bookham is proud to partner with Metro Schools to promote literacy and a love of reading. Through our Reading as Fundamental program, nearly 300 volunteers served 16 Title I elementary schools last year, donating 1,900 hours and distributing over 31,000 books to more than 6,000 students. One teacher shared access to books at home helped close the achievement gap. Our RIF volunteer went above and beyond. Our book bus has made 45 community visits so far this year. Altogether, Bookham provided 115,000 books to Metro students, families, and educators last year, representing nearly $500,000 in free books and volunteer time. These efforts directly support Metro Schools' core tenets, creating engaging, personalized learning experiences, and working to eliminate inequities by ensuring students have access to books that reflect their lives and spark their imaginations. Our volunteers are more than readers, they're role models. One student said, "I learned from her to love, be kind, be a leader." Another shared, "Books can help your imagination grow." These moments of connection and joy are the heart of what we do. We're grateful for our partnership with Metro Schools and look forward to continuing to support your vision.
Thank you. Christopher Gardner. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, good, Mr. Gardner.
Okay, no problem. Good evening, everyone. I am Christopher Garner, and I am here tonight as a proud community member of District 1 and someone who sees the positive results of MNPS and Dr. Battle's positive impact in our community. In the 5 years under the leadership of Dr. Battle, I just want to remind everyone, MNPS has transformed. I'll go down the list again. Teacher pay is now among the highest in the state. Every employee earns at least $20 an hour, and step increases are fully funded. MNPS has expanded early childhood seats, added a nurse to every school, provided universal no-cost meals, and free summer learning to every student. Dr. Battle's launch University MNPS ensures that every graduate has a clear path to college or a career with full tuition scholarships from every local and university. As a Tennessee Achieves mentor, I have had the opportunity to work closely with students from MNPS, and they are entering college well prepared. MNPS implemented a nationally recognized tutoring program, and for the 3 consecutive years, MNPS has been a level 5 district with the highest student achievement in a decade. In my personal opinion, it would be not good to interrupt that type of momentum. These aren't just policies, they are promises kept, and they work. That's because in MNPS, Dr. Battle leads with a belief in something simple but powerful. Every student matters, every student belongs, and every student is known. Thank you.
My apologies. Alice Jenkins Corlew. Alice Jenkins Corlew. All right. Angelica Brooks James.
Good afternoon. It is an honor to stand before you today, not only as a proud parent and educator, but also as a proud product of Metro Nashville Public Schools. My journey began on the south side of Chicago, but it was here within the MNPS community that I truly found my footing, my purpose, and my passion. From the moment I walked through the doors, MNPS, where every scholar is known, represented more than just the school district. It represented safety, not just through systems, but through people. It provided a strong foundation, not just fundamentals. It offered the promise of prosperity, not just protocols. MNPS stands for equality and empowerment, not merely economics. It embodies determination and dedication, not just directives. Because of this support and opportunities I received through MNPS, I can proudly say I am a graduate and scholar of the Maplewood Comprehensive High School, a former substitute teacher, and now an educator and a community liaison, serving scholars, educators, and families. The lessons I learned throughout my journey in this district continue to shape the way I lead, teach, and parent every day. My commitment to this community is also personal. My daughter is a graduate of Big Picture High School, and my son is currently a junior at James Lawson High School. I strive to be the kind of educator, advocate, and parent who creates the same safe and supportive environment for them that my own teachers, parents, and mentors once created for me. Thank you for the opportunity to share my story. I deeply grateful for the path that MNPS has provided me and my family. I look forward to continuing this journey together as we uplift, empower, and support one another in this incredible community. As I take my seat, remember this. They went over, I'm going to go over. All results and no excuses.
Thank you. Joe Bond.
Good afternoon to board members, parents, teachers, and staff. Parents, teachers have a hard job teaching what we're supposed to be teaching at home. They're underpaid, all right? We're short on mental health teachers in our schools. If any parent here ever had a son to kill his brother and turn around and come and stab me for 10, 18 times, stab my wife because of a mental issue? Look here, I have been vice president of June Park, president of White Creek, school board member, and parent advisor. What in the world are we talking about? I've never heard of the state of Tennessee having tech boards like we have now. They mad because they don't have as many prisoners. We don't have as many prisoners coming out on this leadership to go to the end. What in the world are we talking about here? They spent over $6 million on my one son, who was a running back, went to Jackson State for a scholarship, football scholarship. Somebody put something in his drink, developed a mental illness, schizophrenia, bipolar, come home, didn't know me, didn't know his mama. What are we doing to this leadership that we have right here? Come on now. I didn't mean to say all that, but I might have to take up election. Okay, if we don't put it in our kids, oh, by the way, my nephew just got killed Sunday. A bomb. My house got burned down by my son. Here, quit it. I'm not talking to the board, I'm talking to us parents. Stop it. Let's teach our kids at home first.
Thank you, Mr. Vaughn.
Thank you. Thank you, board member. Thank you.
Norman Merrifield.
Good evening, board. Good evening, Dr. Battle. I've seen the work of this district from a lot of lenses, lens of a parent, teacher, instructional coach, contractor, and I think it's easy for people to criticize difficult decisions. As my father used to say, everybody wants to be the boss until it's time to be the boss. And we have two boys, one a graduate of this amazing district and one that's a soon-to-be graduate. And we are thankful and we are appreciative of not only the work of the board, but also the work of the teachers, the principals, the coaches, and everybody who takes time to pour into the kids and pour into each other to be known. And I didn't write anything down, but I had something to say. And one, I feel like I just want to go to the zoo. All of us, I was a little distracted by that whole zoo situation. But we appreciate you, we celebrate you, we honor you, and we would gladly invest everything we had into continuing to see you lead and to see you help our city flourish and help our city fight back against the trauma and the ills that have nothing to do with your leadership, but they always seem to end up in our schools and end up in our seats and end up in our classrooms. So thank you for standing up and making difficult decisions that can't ever make everybody happy. And we honor that, celebrate that, and thank you for that courageous leadership.
Kenya Stinson Sanders. Kenya Stinson Sanders. Marcus Barnes.
Hello, my name is Marcus Barnes. I'm a parent of Dion Barnes, who attends White Creek High School, and I am a supporter of Dr. Battle. There is no one I would rather see leading this school district. I love Dr. Battle. She attended Metro Nashville Public Schools. As a student growing up in Nashville, she spent her career dedicated. My bad. I'm used to holding the mic. I done broke the mic. My bad. Dedicated to our students in our schools. These experiences enable her, Dr. Battle, to lead our district and key insights in her expertise. I am so happy with my child experiences in Metro Nashville Public Schools. To name a couple, he has the opportunity to do dual enrollment at White Creek High School. Y'all know about the dual enrollment program of it? Yeah, it's dual enrollment, all right. He also has a chance to do other things, like receive his associate's degree. So my son, under Dr. Battle, he can has an associate's degree once he graduates. That's got to do with the university MNPS school, I believe. Cool beans. He also can get a chance to earn a full ride of scholarships to local colleges and universities. He also get a chance to use, hold up. Not ChatGPT. All of this was possible because of Dr. Battle, outstanding leadership in Nashville. I trust Dr. Battle. I believe in you. It's my first time just seeing you face to face like that, you know. But thank you, Dr. Battle. And somebody fix this mic.
Okay. Robin Beard Tillman. Okay. Keisha Cox.
Good evening, Dr. Battle, distinguished board members. The MNPS dynasty is undeniably the heartbeat of our community.
Excuse me, you need to hold the mic.
Oh, I can hold the mic. I can touch it. Good evening, Dr. Battle, distinguished board members. Thank you, Dr. Bellamy. The MNPS dynasty is undeniably the heartbeat of the community, an inspiring force that stretches from our dedicated support hub to our exceptional elementary schools, dynamic middle schools, and trailblazing high schools. We are proud to celebrate the extraordinary work happening across our great district, from passionate educators and tireless support staff to curious, resilient scholars. Every corner of MNPS is alive with growth, creativity, and academic excellence. This district isn't just about instruction, it's about igniting possibility with drive to empower everyone to experience more, become more, and achieve more. MNPS is a dynasty built on a foundation of excellence, continuous improvement, and deep community roots. And that foundation is expanding. MNPS has been recognized as a level 5 district for 3 consecutive years. MNPS launched University MNPS, where scholars can earn full tuition scholarships from local colleges and universities. This is dynasty energy, focused, forward-moving, and undistracted. Dynasties aren't born, they're built. And the MNPS dynasty is setting a standard that others strive to follow. So let's be clear. Let's be very clear. We may be imitated in MNPS, but we can never be duplicated. We are MNPS. We are building a legacy that lasts. School board members, don't get distracted. We are building a dynasty. Thank you.
Holly Catherine.
Good evening, board members, Madam Chair, and Dr. Battle. For me, this moment is deeply personal. I stand before you not only as an educator and an administrator, but as a proud product of Metro Nashville Public Schools, having completed my entire K-12 education within this district. Over the past 28 years, I have dedicated my professional life to serving the very community that shaped me, 14 years as a classroom teacher and 14 years in administration. Every chapter of my journey has been rooted in the belief that every child deserves excellence and every educator deserves support. I am so proud to serve under the leadership that shares the same philosophy and belief. Over the past 5 years, I've had the privilege of serving under the leadership of Dr. Adrienne Battle. Her vision has been a guiding light for all of us. She not only championed student success, but has also empowered leaders across the district to grow, innovate, and lead with purpose. Dr. Battle's unwavering commitment to strengthen instructional practices and leading strategies have made lasting impact, not only on students, but on lives. She truly understands the importance of every child being known, and she equips administrators with the tools and trust we need to make that a reality. Her leadership is not just strategic, it is innovative, intentional, and deeply rooted in equity. At Madison Middle, where I am the proud leader, we've experienced the impact of strong, thoughtful district leadership. We moved at a priority status, and in the 23-24 school year, earned a level 5 school-wide TVOS score. This progress is the result of intentional practices, a dedicated team, and a school community that believes in growth and possibility for all students. I'm honored to be a part of this journey and sincerely grateful for Dr. Battle's leadership. Thank you.
Karen Gentry.
So what are we really talking about?
There have been similar lawsuits settled for similar per-person amounts, for similar accusations, but without similar torches and pitchforks. So, and for those who care to listen, it's not coming out of the 25-26 budget, so it can't be about the money. Sharon, if it ain't about the money, what is it about? I'm glad you asked. Let's talk it out. In an environment where someone decided to make the school board political by making the position partisan and having one woman supported by 9 individuals leading over 11,000 others on a mission to create a system that results in every student known, what's happening here is making some people uncomfortable. And then that army of over 11,010 started fighting through tornadoes, a pandemic, having a baby, needing escorts to your cars, focusing on folks showing up on your lawn, then flowed into a continuum of successes, funding increases, thoughtful, collaborative, strategic planning, test scores rising, students returning to the district, test scores rising, partnerships growing, test scores rising. And dare we forget the White Creek three-peat, and still test scores rising. And after 5 years of success, what you've heard here tonight is simply their best gotcha. Ma'am, you're scaring folks, creating symptoms using a problem from 5 years ago to develop a narrative designed to support a political agenda, an agenda that politicizes and uses as pawns students with disabilities, students from economically disadvantaged environments, English language learners, Blacks, Hispanics, Native American students, the students that you, ma'am, are seeing, knowing, and serving. An agenda that needed justification to increase the cap on the number of vouchers like it increased the cap on the number of charters. An agenda that was counting on your failure. You're not a bad leader. You're not a demonstrated poor judgment, or have you been a poor student, a steward of the district's resources? What you are, my dear, is merely in the way. What is it about? It's about creating enough noise to throw you off your game. Don't let them. I, too, love you, Dr. Battle, and agree our students and schools are better because of you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We will now move into committee reports. We'll have a report from our chair of Governance Committee, Member Elrod.
Thank you. Thank you. So before this meeting began at 5 o'clock, at 4 o'clock, we had a governance committee. At the governance meeting, we discussed some policies regarding our charter schools, 190 through 1906. We also discussed some expenditure of funds policies, instructional programming, discrimination, and other discrimination language. All of those were discussed and voted upon, along with a discussion about personal communication devices and in addition to that policy. And then there was a special election discussion about potential possible changes to our calendar, which are outside of our desire or creation from the state due to the special election in District 7. So there was a discussion about that, but no decision made. Decisions will be made soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll now move into the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as listed?
Motion to approve.
It's been motioned by Member Mays. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Member Fain. Is there any discussion? There is no discussion. If you're in favor of passing the consent agenda, raise your hand. It passes unanimously. And that is being no further business. Our meeting's adjourned.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network.
If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.